Are you torn between renting and buying a home in Austin, Texas? If you are, you're not alone. With property values where they are today, changing market conditions, and the allure of home ownership, making decisions like these can be daunting. But don't worry, I've got you covered. I'm Shannon Green, your local Austin, Texas realtor with over 30 years of experience living in Austin, Texas. Today, I'm going to show you the pros and cons of renting versus buying. My goal is to share enough information for you to help you along the way to make your choice of whether it's the right time in your life to rent or buy. And that choice needs to fit your lifestyle and your goals. Let's get started and find out which option's right for you. I'm going to start off with a little fun facts. So first, did you know that 34.5% of people in the United States rent their home? The median household income for those renters is around $41,000 nationally. Their median credit score is around 638. In contrast, 65.8% of Americans own their own home. They have a median annual income of around $78,000 and a median credit score in the 750s. Now these stats are national average, so it might not be you, but that is the national. Now let's kind of unpack that a little bit deeper and talk about how this could weigh into renting versus buying. First of all, renting has its advantages. It offers great flexibility, much lower upfront cost, and you don't have to worry about maintenance and repairs. Monthly rent is often much lower than mortgage payments, not always, but many times. So naturally, this is a lot easier on the pocketbook. On occasion, I will help someone lease a home, and typically it ends up being 2 or 3 roommates together. And a lot of times their sole focus is either to be in a certain area where they just want to have fun and they're younger, or they all have a goal in mind of saving a lot of money, and this allows them to split that rent and save for their future goals. Some of those being buying a home. Now, with all those pros on the table, there are some cons to renting as well. And the first one being that you are not gaining any equity at all when you are renting. Secondly, there's always the possibility of increased rents. And I would say finally, there's less stability when you are renting than when you own your own home. There is something about owning your home that gives you a sense of stability. I recently had a client, they were a couple and they were renting an apartment, and it was a really nice apartment. It was in the high 2000s. They wanted to live in a great area and they loved it, but when they saw over time how much they were spending, they were motivated then to buy a home because there are so many opportunities, especially now in Austin, with incentives from builders and things like that, that they were motivated at that time to focus on buying their own home and starting a different type of lifestyle. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of buying a home. And the obvious pro is home ownership allows you to build equity over a period of time. You also get to enjoy the ability to have tax benefits and the stability of owning your own home. One of the things I loved most about owning my own home, because I did buy an older home, is the fact that I got to completely remodel the home and make it exactly what I wanted it to be for my taste. If I had been renting, I couldn't have done that. So that's another advantage I see in owning a home, is that you get to make it your own. Let's talk about cons. Buying a home requires a lot of upfront cost, including down payment and closing cost. You're also responsible for maintenance and repairs, which can add up over time. And of course, home values can fluctuate depending on the market. I had a client recently that was hesitant on wanting to become a homeowner versus renter, but he did decide the home ownership route. But the one reason that he was the most fearful was dealing with repairs and maintenance of the home. But once he got into the community where he wanted to be, and he had his own yard and started doing backyard barbecues, all of those things outweighed the adulting that you have to do when you own a home. So he's still happy with his choice, but with that comes some other responsibilities. While there are pros and cons to renting and pros and cons to buying, it's time now to figure out, how do you make the right decision? You've got to figure out your financial situation, your credit score, your long-term plans. There's a lot of things that need to be factored in when you're deciding whether you want to rent or buy. Think about your space and lifestyle needs, and you always want to keep a current check on the market in Austin and rely on your realtor to help you with that. At the end of the day, there's truly no one-size-fits-all answer. Renting might be the best choice for you right now, and buying could be a goal for the future. It's all about what fits your lifestyle and your financial goals. I often advise my clients to write down their future goals and see which one aligns with their life better. Besides the benefits of owning a home, I want to remind everyone that there are some great tax advantages to owning a home that you don't get when you are renting. These can significantly reduce the tax burden annually for you, so let's kind of go into those. First, there's the mortgage interest deduction. This allows you to deduct the interest that you pay on the mortgage from your taxable income. For example, if you pay $10,000 in interest on your mortgage and you fall, let's say, into the 24% tax bracket, then you take 24% of that $10,000, which would equal $2,400, and you can save that on taxes. Next, you have the property tax deduction. Homeowners can deduct state and local property taxes up to a certain limit. Let's say your property taxes are $5,000 for the year and you're still in that 24% tax bracket. You take the $5,000 times the 24%, which gives you $1,200 in savings on your taxes. Another significant benefit is the capital gains exclusion. When you go to sell your home, your primary residence, you can exclude up to $250,000 if you are claiming single, and up to $500,000 if you are filing married jointly, provided you've been in the property for at least 2 years. This can result in substantial savings, especially in a market where the property values have gone up significantly. Let's look at an example of what that would look like. Suppose you bought a home for 300 grand, for easy math, and 5 years later, you sold it for 400,000. So from 300,000 to 400,000 in 5 years gives you $100,000 in profit. If you're married filing jointly, you can exclude the entire gain, meaning you won't owe any federal tax on that $100,000 that you made. And finally, there's a home office deduction. So if you work from home, there are certain things that you can write off in areas within the home when it comes to your taxes. Mortgage, insurance, repairs, utilities, space, all of that can be considered in your working area, but you need to talk to your CPA and they can help you figure out what that space is and what that deduction would be. So to wrap this all up, there are benefits to renting and there are benefits to buying. There are a lot more financial benefits when it comes to home ownership, but renting might be the better place for you in your lifestyle. It might give you some cash flow that you need to save to buy a home, or it might give you the lifestyle that you want for that extra cash flow just to live the lifestyle that you're wanting to live at the time. I know that when I was younger, back in the early 2000s, I was renting in the neighborhood of Clarksville. I would have never been able to afford a home in Clarksville at that time, but I was able to afford the luxury of living in an apartment in that neighborhood. So I chose that for myself, even though I could have purchased a home, but I wanted to live in that space. So renting for me at that time made sense. If you have any questions and want me to help you zone in on how to find that dream home of yours, or if you're looking to understand better the Austin area or different benefits of home ownership, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to set up a call and we can go into your personal journey one-on-one. My information is below. Like and subscribe to the page. It always helps and I love to put out extra content. So if you have any new content you'd like to hear, leave it in the comments below. I'd like to hear about it. Thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next video.